Welcome. Consistency is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. The road to success is paved with consistent effort. Force yourself to walk it, even when it's hard and even when you don't feel like it. If you're not consistent, you're choosing comfort over growth, and comfort will never lead to the life you want. If you're not consistent, you'll never see real growth, because success is built on daily efforts, not random bursts of motivation. If you're not consistent, you're making excuses while others are making progress. Remember, consistency is what separates the dreamers from the achievers. Consistency is the key to success. But how often do we struggle to stay consistent with our goals? Have you ever felt like giving up when things get tough, or when the results aren't showing up as quickly as you'd like? Well, what if I told you that the secret to pushing through those tough moments lies in forcing yourself to be consistent? It's not always easy, but when you embrace the power of consistency, you can achieve anything. In this video, we'll dive deep into why consistency is non-negotiable for success, how you can build a mindset that sticks to your goals, and how forcing yourself to stay on track can change your life forever. Stay with me till the end, because this video could be the game changer you've been waiting for. Consistency is not easy, and it's important to admit that right now. It's not something that happens naturally or automatically. Think about how many times you've started something, a new habit, a project, or a goal, only to stop halfway through. It's not unusual. It's not something to feel ashamed about, because it happens to everyone. But here's the truth. Sticking to anything over time requires effort, discipline, and commitment, and these qualities aren't things we're born with, they're things we build. The first step to being consistent is understanding why it's hard. Life throws distractions and challenges at you every day. It's easy to give in to comfort, procrastination, or the idea that you'll start tomorrow. But the problem is, most people wait to feel motivated before they act. That's a mistake. Motivation is fleeting, it's unreliable. It might get you started, but it won't keep you going. If you rely on feeling motivated, you'll give up the moment things get tough. Consistency doesn't come from motivation, it comes from discipline. Discipline is what pushes you to show up even when you don't feel like it. It's what keeps you going when the initial excitement wears off. And to develop discipline, you need to address the biggest roadblock, your own mind. That little voice in your head telling you to skip today, to relax, to give up because it's hard, that voice is the enemy. It's not your friend, and every time you listen to it, you make it stronger. But here's the good news. Every time you ignore that voice and push through, you get stronger, you take control. It's a battle you need to fight every day, and every time you win, you're building a version of yourself that's more resilient, more determined, and more capable. Consistency doesn't mean you're perfect. It doesn't mean you never make mistakes or miss a day. It means you show up as often as possible, no matter how you feel. It's not about being flawless, it's about being reliable. On days when you're tired, frustrated, or uninspired, you still do what you can. Some days you'll give your best effort. Other days, just showing up is enough. But every time you show up, you're moving forward. Small actions matter. They add up over time. The workout you didn't skip, the extra hour you spent working on your business, the small step you took toward your goal, these things may feel insignificant in the moment, but they build momentum. Momentum is powerful because it makes consistency easier. It's like pushing a car. The hardest part is getting it to move, but once it starts rolling, it takes less effort to keep it going. One of the reasons people give up on consistency is because they expect instant results. They put in a week or two of effort, and when they don't see progress, they feel discouraged. But success doesn't work that way. Real success is like planting a seed. You water it, nurture it, and give it time. At first you don't see anything, but below the surface things are happening, roots are growing, and one day that seed sprouts. Consistency works the same way. It lays the foundation for your success, even when you can't see the results yet. To stay consistent, you need to set realistic expectations. Don't overwhelm yourself by trying to do too much at once. Break your goals into smaller, manageable steps. If you want to exercise more, start with 10 minutes a day instead of an hour. If you want to read more, commit to reading a few pages instead of a whole chapter. Small commitments are easier to stick to, and as you succeed in meeting them, you'll build confidence and momentum. Accountability is another key to consistency. Hold yourself responsible for your actions. Keep a journal, track your progress, or share your goals with someone who will check in on you. Knowing someone is watching, even if it's just yourself, makes it harder to slack off. And when you slip up, and you will, because no one is perfect, don't use it as an excuse to quit. Get back on track as quickly as possible. One bad day doesn't erase all the good days that came before it. Consistency isn't just about achieving goals. It's about who you become in the process. When you force yourself to be consistent, you prove to yourself that you're capable of following through even when it's hard. That belief in yourself is priceless. It gives you the confidence to take on bigger challenges and pursue bigger dreams. It's not just about the results. It's about becoming a person who doesn't quit, a person who can be relied on, a person who stays committed. When you're consistent, you're creating habits, and habits are powerful because they shape your life. The things you do repeatedly, whether good or bad, become part of who you are. If you consistently make excuses, procrastinate, or give up, you're training yourself to be someone who doesn't follow through. But if you consistently show up, work hard, and push through challenges, you're building a reputation with yourself as someone who gets things done. That kind of discipline can transform your life. It affects everything: your health, your relationships, your career, your personal growth. It's not just about one area. It's about creating a life that reflects your best efforts. And the only way to do that is by showing up every day and doing the work, even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it feels like you're not making progress. The hardest part of being consistent is starting. That first step is always the most challenging because it requires you to overcome inertia. But once you start, keep going. Take it one day at a time, one step at a time. Focus on the process, not the results. Trust that the effort you're putting in will pay off, even if you don't see it right away. Consistency is a choice. It's not something that happens to you, it's something you decide to do. It's about committing to yourself and your goals, even when it's inconvenient, even when you'd rather do something else. It's about proving to yourself that you're capable of staying on track, no matter what obstacles come your way. And remember, the most important person you need to be consistent for is yourself. You deserve to see what you're capable of when you don't quit. You deserve to experience the pride and satisfaction that comes from sticking with something even when it's hard. You owe it to yourself to keep going, to keep showing up, to keep trying. Force yourself to be consistent, not just for the results, but for the person you'll become along the way. That person is stronger, more determined, and more capable than you can imagine, and that person is within you, waiting to be built. So start today. Show up for yourself. Take the first step, and then take another. Keep going no matter what, because the only way to achieve anything meaningful is to force yourself to be consistent. Your worst days are the ones that test you the most. They strip away the excuses and expose what you're really made of. Anyone can work hard when they feel motivated or inspired, but what sets you apart is your ability to push through when everything inside you is screaming to quit. Think about the times you felt like giving up but didn't. Didn't those moments make you stronger? Didn't they prove to you that you could handle more than you thought? That's the power of showing up even when it feels impossible. On your worst days, the effort matters more than the outcome. You don't have to be at your best, you just have to try. It's about maintaining momentum even if it's at a slower pace. Imagine a runner climbing a steep hill. They might not move fast, but they keep moving. Every step they take is progress, even if it's small. Your journey works the same way. Forward is forward, no matter how slow. The truth is, consistency is built on showing up when you least feel like it. Those are the days when you're building habits, not just achieving goals, habits that don't rely on emotions or circumstances, habits that say, this is who I am, no matter what. And once you have those habits, they become second nature. You won't even have to think about whether you'll show up. You just will, because it's part of who you are. Your worst days are also your greatest opportunities for growth. When things are easy, you're coasting, but when things are hard, you're learning. You're figuring out how to deal with setbacks, how to stay calm under pressure, and how to adapt when plans fall apart. These are the skills that prepare you for bigger challenges. They're the lessons that strengthen your resilience. If you avoid the tough days, you miss out on these invaluable experiences. It's important to recognize that showing up doesn't mean doing everything perfectly. It doesn't mean pushing yourself to the point of burnout or pretending you're okay when you're not. It means doing what you can with what you have, where you are. If you're exhausted, take a smaller step. If you're overwhelmed, focus on one task. Showing up is about effort, not perfection. One of the hardest parts of showing up on bad days is overcoming the mental barriers. Your mind will give you 1,000 reasons to skip, to postpone, to give up. It will tell you that you're not ready, that you're too tired, that it doesn't matter. But your mind is wrong. The more you let those excuses control you, the stronger they become. The only way to silence them is to act despite them. The more you push through, the quieter those excuses will get. Another key to showing up on your worst days is finding a source of motivation within yourself. External rewards and recognition are nice, but they won't sustain you when things get tough. You need to know why you're doing what you're doing. Maybe it's to build a better future for yourself or your family. Maybe it's to prove to yourself that you're capable of more. Whatever your reason, hold on to it tightly. Let it be the spark that keeps you going, even in the darkest moments. Support systems can also make a huge difference. Surround yourself with people who understand your struggles and encourage you to keep going. They don't have to solve your problems. Sometimes just knowing someone is in your corner is enough. And if you don't have that support, be your own cheerleader. Remind yourself of everything you've already overcome. Remind yourself that you've survived every bad day you've had so far, and you'll survive this one too. When you look back on your life, it won't be the easy days that stand out. It'll be the days you struggled but kept going. The days you wanted to quit but didn't. Those are the moments that define you. They're the moments that show you what you're capable of. So the next time you're having a bad day, remind yourself. This is your chance to prove to yourself that you're stronger than your circumstances. And remember, progress doesn't always look impressive. Sometimes it's just getting out of bed. Sometimes it's taking a deep breath and trying again. Sometimes it's finishing one small task when you wanted to do 10. Progress is progress, no matter how small. The important thing is that you're not standing still. There's also something deeply empowering about showing up on your worst days. It's a way of taking control, of saying, I won't let this day defeat me. It's a reminder that no matter what's happening around you, you still have the power to choose your actions. And that power is what makes all the difference. Life will always have ups and downs. There will be days when you feel unstoppable, and there will be days when you feel broken. But the secret to success isn't in avoiding the bad days, it's learning how to navigate them. It's showing up, doing your best, and trusting that better days are ahead. Showing up on your worst days isn't just about getting through them, it's about building the strength and resilience to face whatever comes next. It's about proving to yourself that you're capable of more than you thought. It's about creating a life where you don't just survive, but thrive, no matter what life throws your way. So the next time you're having a bad day, don't retreat, don't give up, show up, even if it's not perfect, even if it's messy, even if it's hard. Because every time you show up, you're telling yourself and the world that you're not done yet, and that's what matters most. The hardest things in life are often the ones that matter the most. Yet these are the tasks we're most likely to avoid. They sit in the back of our minds, weighing us down with guilt, anxiety, or dread. We push them aside, telling ourselves we'll get to them later. But later rarely comes. The truth is, delaying the hardest tasks doesn't make them easier. It makes them bigger, scarier, and more overwhelming. The only way to overcome them is to face them head on, to tackle them first before the day wears you down. Think about the last time you had a daunting task hanging over you. Maybe it was a conversation you were avoiding, a project that felt overwhelming, or a decision you didn't want to make. How much mental energy did you waste worrying about it? That energy could have been used to actually get it done. The longer you wait, the more it drains you. But when you do the hardest thing first, you free yourself. You reclaim the energy you would have spent worrying, and you set the tone for the rest of the day. Starting with the hardest task isn't just about productivity, it's about mindset. It's about proving to yourself that you can handle challenges. When you start your day with a win, no matter how small, it creates momentum. You feel capable, confident, and ready to take on whatever comes next. On the other hand, when you avoid the hard stuff, it lingers in the back of your mind, casting a shadow over everything else you do. The hardest tasks are often the most important ones. They're the ones that move you forward, that challenge you to grow, that bring you closer to your goals. Easy tasks might feel satisfying in the moment, but they rarely make a lasting impact. If you spend your time on what's comfortable, you're not really progressing, you're just treading water. Tackling the hardest thing first forces you to prioritize what truly matters. But let's be honest, doing the hardest thing first isn't easy. It takes discipline, courage, and focus. It requires you to confront your fears, your doubts, and your insecurities. It's uncomfortable, and that's exactly why it's so powerful. Growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. It happens when you push yourself, when you take on challenges that scare you, when you prove to yourself that you're stronger than you think. To tackle the hardest thing first, you need a strategy. Start by identifying what that thing island is, the task you've been avoiding, the one that feels like a heavy weight on your shoulders. Once you've identified it, break it down into smaller steps. Often, the hardest tasks feel overwhelming because we see them as one massive, unmanageable thing. But when you break them down, they become more approachable. For example, if your hardest task is preparing for a presentation, don't think about it as write a presentation. Think about it as create an outline, gather resources, write the introduction, and so on. Each step is manageable, and each step brings you closer to completion. By focusing on one small part at a time, you make the whole task less intimidating. Timing is everything when it comes to doing the hardest thing first. Morning is often the best time because your energy and focus are at their peak. Your willpower is stronger and your mind is less cluttered with distractions. As the day goes on, your energy wanes and it becomes easier to justify putting the task off. That's why starting your day with the hardest thing is so effective. It ensures you get it done before excuses have a chance to creep in. Accountability can also help. Share your hardest task with someone you trust and let them know you're committing to tackling it first. Sometimes knowing that someone else is watching can give you the extra push you need to follow through. And if you don't have someone to hold you accountable, write it down. Seeing your commitment on paper can be a powerful motivator. The rewards of doing the hardest thing first are immediate and long-lasting. In the short term, you feel a sense of relief and accomplishment. You'll free up mental space and energy, allowing you to focus on other tasks without the weight of procrastination dragging you down. In the long term, you'll build a habit of taking action, of confronting challenges head-on, of refusing to let fear or discomfort hold you back. There's also a ripple effect. When you tackle the hardest thing first, you set a standard for yourself. You start to see yourself as someone who takes action, who doesn't shy away from challenges, who gets things done. That mindset spills over into other areas of your life, making you more confident, more resilient, and more proactive. But let's not pretend it's all smooth sailing. There will be days when the hardest thing feels impossible. Days when your motivation is low, your doubts are high, and you just don't feel like doing it. Those are the days when it matters most. Those are the days when doing the hardest thing first isn't just a strategy, it's a statement. A statement that says, I'm not defined by my feelings, I'm defined by my actions. It's also important to celebrate your wins. When you tackle the hardest thing first, take a moment to acknowledge your effort. It doesn't have to be a big celebration, just a moment of gratitude for yourself, recognizing your achievements, no matter how small. Acknowledging them reinforces the habit and encourages you to keep going. Doing the hardest thing first isn't just about productivity, it's about living intentionally. It's about taking control of your time and energy instead of letting them be dictated by procrastination or fear. It's about making choices that align with your values and priorities rather than taking the easy way out. It's about becoming the kind of person who faces challenges with courage and determination rather than avoidance and regret. Waiting for motivation is one of the biggest traps people fall into. You tell yourself you'll start when you feel ready, when inspiration strikes, or when the stars align. But here's the harsh truth. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like a fleeting emotion, and if you depend on it to take action, you'll never accomplish anything meaningful. Success isn't about waiting for motivation. It's about building discipline, creating habits, and showing up even when you don't feel like it. Think about the times when you felt motivated. Maybe it was after watching a powerful video, hearing an inspiring story, or setting a big goal. In that moment, you were fired up and ready to conquer the world. But how long did that feeling last? A day? A week? Eventually, the excitement faded and you were back to square one, waiting for the next burst of motivation to get you going. This cycle of starting and stopping is exhausting and it gets you nowhere. The problem with motivation is that it's external. It relies on something outside of you to spark action. But life isn't always inspiring. You won't always feel pumped up or eager to tackle your goals. If you wait for the perfect moment or mood, you'll spend your life stuck in place watching others pass you by. The people who succeed aren't the ones who are always motivated. They're the ones who take action no matter how they feel. Discipline is the antidote to the motivation trap. Discipline doesn't rely on feelings, it relies on commitment. It's about deciding what you want and sticking to it no matter what. It's about creating habits that carry you through the days when you're tired, unmotivated, or overwhelmed. Discipline is what gets you out of bed at 5 a.m. to work out even when you'd rather sleep in. It's what keeps you working on your side hustle after a long day at your 9 to 5. It's what drives you to show up day after day until you reach your goals. Building discipline starts with small, consistent actions. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. Start by committing to one thing and doing it every single day, no matter what. It could be writing one page, exercising for 10 minutes, or reading for 15 minutes. The key is consistency. When you show up consistently, you build momentum. You prove to yourself that you can follow through, and that builds confidence. Over time, those small actions compound into massive results. Habits are another crucial piece of the puzzle. Motivation gets you started, but habits keep you going. When something becomes a habit, it's automatic. You don't have to think about it, debate it, or psych yourself up for it. You just do it because it's part of your routine. Habits take the emotional component out of action, which makes them far more reliable than motivation. If you only act when you feel like it, you'll never be consistent. And if you're not consistent, you'll never succeed. Another reason to stop looking for motivation is that it makes you a passive participant in your own life. When you wait for motivation, you're giving up control. You're saying, I can't take action unless I feel inspired. But you don't need to feel inspired to take action. Action creates its own momentum. The hardest part is getting started, but once you take that first step, the next step becomes easier. Action also creates motivation. When you start doing something, you often find yourself getting into the flow and feeling more motivated to keep going. It's like pushing a car. The first push is the hardest, but once it starts moving, it becomes easier to keep it rolling. By taking action, you generate your own motivation rather than waiting for it to come to you. A big part of letting go of the need for motivation is accepting that you won't always feel like it. There will be days when you're tired, frustrated, or just plain lazy. That's normal. What matters is how you respond. Do you give in to those feelings or do you push through them? Discipline is about doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. It's about showing up even on your worst days. Setting clear goals can also help you break free from the motivation trap. When you have a clear vision of what you want and why it matters, it's easier to stay focused and committed. Your why becomes your driving force. It gives you something to hold on to when the going gets tough. Motivation might get you excited about your goals, but your why is what keeps you moving toward them. Another way to cultivate discipline is to remove distractions and temptations. If you're constantly surrounded by things that pull you away from your goals, it's harder to stay on track. Create an environment that supports your success. If you want to eat healthier, stock your kitchen with nutritious foods and get rid of junk food. If you want to work on a project, create a dedicated workspace free from distractions. Accountability can also be a powerful tool. When you share your goals with someone else, you're more likely to follow through. Find a friend, mentor, or coach who will hold you accountable. Let them know what you're working on and check in with them regularly. Sometimes knowing that someone else is watching can give you the push you need to stay disciplined. Ultimately, the key to success is not waiting for motivation, but creating systems that make success inevitable. Systems are the routines, habits, and processes that guide your actions. They remove the need for willpower and make it easier to do the right thing. For example, if you want to write a book, set a daily word count goal and stick to it. If you want to save money, set up automatic transfers to your savings account. Systems take the guesswork out of action and make discipline a natural part of your life. Number 5, learn to push through pain. Pain is an inevitable part of life. It comes in different forms, physical, emotional, mental, and often at the most inconvenient times. But here's the hard truth. Pain is not your enemy. It's a teacher, a signal, and a catalyst for growth. Most people see pain as something to avoid, but if you want to achieve greatness, you need to learn to push through it. Pain is not the end, it's the beginning of transformation. When you encounter pain, your first instinct might be to retreat, to seek comfort and safety. This reaction is hardwired into us, a survival mechanism designed to protect us from harm. But this instinct, while useful in life-threatening situations, can hold you back in everyday challenges. Running from pain only prolongs it and keeps you stuck in the same place. Growth requires discomfort, and discomfort comes with pain. Think about your biggest achievements. Chances are they didn't come easily. Whether it was earning a degree, building a business, or achieving a fitness goal, there were moments when it hurt, when it felt impossible to keep going, but you did. And that pain made the victory sweeter. Success demands sacrifice, and sacrifice often hurts. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you can start making real progress. Pain, when faced head-on, becomes a source of power. It's a test of your resilience, determination, and character. It separates those who are willing to do whatever it takes from those who give up at the first sign of difficulty. Pushing through pain doesn't mean ignoring it or pretending it doesn't exist. It means acknowledging it, understanding it, and using it as fuel. It's about choosing to rise above it no matter how hard it feels. The key to pushing through pain is shifting your mindset. Most people see pain as a sign to stop, but what if you saw it as a sign to keep going? What if you viewed it as evidence that you're pushing your limits, stepping out of your comfort zone, and moving closer to your goals? Pain is proof that you're doing something difficult, and difficult things are what lead to growth. Mental pain is often the hardest to overcome because it's invisible. Self-doubt, fear, and anxiety can feel overwhelming, but they're just as much a part of the process as physical pain. To push through mental pain, you need to train your mind to focus on the bigger picture. When your thoughts spiral into negativity, remind yourself why you started. Keep your goals in the forefront of your mind and let them guide you through the dark moments. Physical pain, while more tangible, is just as much a mental battle. Athletes know this better than anyone. They push their bodies to the brink, enduring grueling workouts and injuries, all for the sake of improving. What sets them apart is their ability to focus not on the pain itself, but on what lies beyond it, their goals, their dreams, their vision of success. Pain becomes secondary to purpose. To build the ability to push through pain, you need to develop mental toughness. Mental toughness isn't something you're born with, it's something you build through experience. It starts with small challenges. Push yourself a little harder than you think you can. Whether it's an extra mile in your run, an extra hour at work, or a difficult conversation you've been avoiding, every time you overcome a challenge, you strengthen your mental muscle. Consistency is crucial. Facing pain once won't make you stronger, just like lifting weights once won't make you fit. You need to confront pain repeatedly in different forms to build resilience. Each time you do, you prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you thought. This confidence spills over into other areas of your life, making you more willing to take risks and face new challenges. Perspective is another powerful tool. When you're in pain, it's easy to focus on how bad it feels. But what if you shifted your focus to what the pain is teaching you? Pain can teach you patience, persistence, and the value of hard work. It can show you your limits and challenge you to break through them. Instead of seeing pain as a barrier, see it as a stepping stone. It's also important to understand the difference between pain that helps you grow and pain that harms you. Productive pain comes from pushing your limits in a controlled, intentional way. Destructive pain comes from recklessness or ignoring your body's warning signs. Pushing through pain doesn't mean ignoring injuries or sacrificing your well-being. It means knowing your boundaries and finding ways to challenge them without crossing into harm. Support systems can make a big difference. Surround yourself with people who encourage you to keep going even when it's hard. Whether it's a coach, a mentor, or a friend, having someone to remind you of your strength can help you push through tough times. But remember, no one else can do the work for you. At the end of the day, it's up to you to face the pain and move forward. Gratitude is another powerful way to reframe pain. Instead of resenting it, be thankful for it. Pain is a sign that you're alive, that you're trying, that you're growing. Not everyone has the opportunity to face the challenges you're facing. Embrace the struggle as part of the journey and let it shape you into a stronger, wiser person. Distractions can be helpful in small doses, but they're not a long-term solution. When pain feels overwhelming, it's okay to take a break and do something that brings you joy, but don't use distractions as an escape. Face the pain head on when you're ready and use those moments of relief to recharge and refocus. Visualization can also be a powerful tool. Picture yourself on the other side of the pain. Imagine how it will feel to achieve your goal, to overcome the challenge, to look back and know you didn't give up. This vision can give you the strength to keep going when it feels impossible. The process of pushing through pain is not glamorous. It's messy, uncomfortable, and sometimes downright brutal, but it's also where the magic happens. It's where you discover your true strength, your limits, and your ability to surpass them. It's where you transform from someone who dreams of success to someone who earns it. Pain is not something to fear, it's something to embrace. It's a sign that you're on the right path, doing the hard work that most people avoid. Learn to push through it, and you'll unlock a level of resilience and strength you never knew you had. Pain is temporary, but the growth it brings lasts forever. Life is a series of decisions and actions. No matter how disciplined or focused you are, there will be moments when you slip, you'll miss a workout, fail to stick to a plan, or break a commitment. Missing once is human, it's inevitable, but what defines your character and determines your success is how you respond to that miss. The real danger isn't in the first slip-up, it's in letting it spiral into a pattern. One miss is an event, two misses are the beginning of a habit. When you miss something important, your mind often goes into overdrive. Guilt creeps in, whispering that you failed. That guilt can lead to shame, and shame can turn into avoidance. You tell yourself it's not worth trying anymore because you've already messed up. But this mindset is the root of most failures. It's not the initial mistake that ruins progress, it's the chain reaction that follows. Imagine this. You've committed to waking up at 6 a.m. every day to work on a personal project. One morning your alarm goes off and you hit snooze, you wake up late and feel terrible. The next day you tell yourself it's okay to sleep in again because you've already broken the streak. By the third day the habit is gone This is how most people fail, not because they missed once, but because they didn't stop the miss from becoming a trend. To avoid this, you need to shift your mindset. Missing once is not failure, it's feedback. It's a signal that something went wrong, and it's an opportunity to learn and adjust. Instead of beating yourself up, ask yourself why it happened. Were you too tired? Did you overcommit? Did you fail to prepare? Understanding the cause helps you address it and prevent it from happening again. One of the most powerful ways to prevent a second miss is to have a clear plan in place. When you commit to something, anticipate the challenges you might face. If you know mornings are tough for you, set up your environment to make it easier. Lay out your clothes, prepare your breakfast, or set multiple alarms. Planning ahead removes excuses and increases your chances of staying consistent. Accountability is another key factor. Share your goals with someone who will hold you to them. It could be a friend, a mentor, or even a journal where you track your progress. Knowing that someone or something is keeping tabs on you can be a powerful motivator. It's harder to justify a second miss when you're accountable to someone else. Forgiveness is equally important. When you miss once, don't dwell on it. Acknowledge it, accept it, and move on. The longer you stay stuck in guilt, the harder it becomes to get back on track. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend. You wouldn't tell them to give up after one mistake, so don't do it to yourself. Your identity plays a crucial role in how you handle a miss. If you see yourself as someone who gives up easily, every miss will reinforce that belief. But if you view yourself as resilient and disciplined, a miss becomes an anomaly, not the norm. Every time you bounce back after a miss, you reinforce a positive identity. You prove to yourself that you're someone who doesn't quit. Habits are built on consistency, not perfection. No one is perfect, and expecting perfection sets you up for failure. Instead, aim for a high success rate, 90% or even 80%. This mindset allows room for occasional misses without derailing your progress. It's about the long-term trend, not the short-term slip-ups. Discipline is a muscle, and like any muscle, it gets stronger with use. Each time you stop a miss from becoming two, you strengthen your discipline. It's not easy, but it's worth it. The more you practice bouncing back, the less likely you are to let one slip turn into a downward spiral. The next time you miss, act quickly. The longer you wait to get back on track, the harder it becomes. Momentum works both ways. It can propel you forward or drag you down. Missing once creates negative momentum, but taking immediate action stops it in its tracks. Don't wait for the right time to start again. The right time is now. Visualization can help you stay on track. Picture yourself succeeding despite the miss. Imagine how it feels to bounce back stronger, to prove to yourself that one mistake won't define you. This mental rehearsal makes it easier to take action because you've already seen yourself succeed in your mind. Your environment also plays a significant role. Surround yourself with people, tools, and reminders that support your goals. If you're trying to eat healthier, keep junk food out of the house. If you're building a workout routine, have your gear ready to go. An environment that aligns with your goals makes it harder to justify missing twice. Emotions can be both your greatest ally and your biggest obstacle. Missing once often triggers frustration, disappointment, or self-doubt. Instead of letting these emotions control you, channel them into action. Use the frustration as fuel to do better next time. Let the disappointment remind you why your goals matter. Emotion is energy. Use it to move forward, not backward. Remember, progress is not linear. There will be ups and downs, but what matters is the overall trajectory. One miss doesn't erase weeks or months of hard work. It's a small bump on a long road. Keep your focus on the bigger picture and trust that consistency will pay off in the end. A clear vision is the bedrock of any significant achievement. Without a vision, you are like a ship adrift at sea with no destination, no direction. Many people go through life drifting, reacting to the events around them rather than actively pursuing a purpose that excites them. They're not committed to anything because they have no clear vision to commit to. This is why so many goals are abandoned, dreams are forgotten, and ambitions fade into the background noise of everyday life. If you want to build something meaningful, if you want to achieve greatness, you have to commit to a clear vision. Committing to a clear vision means knowing exactly what you want to achieve, why it matters, and how you're going to get there. It's not just about vague dreams or wishful thinking. A clear vision is specific, measurable, and rooted in action. It's a roadmap for your future, giving you a reason to wake up every day and put in the work even when it's hard. Without a vision, you're left with a fragmented approach to life, bouncing from one thing to the next without any clear purpose. But here's the truth. It's easy to say you have a vision, but living it out is a completely different story. A lot of people talk about their goals and dreams, but when it comes time to commit, they falter. They get distracted, overwhelmed, or discouraged by obstacles. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not necessarily talent or luck. It's the strength of their commitment to their vision. When you commit to your vision, you stop treating it like a side project and start treating it like your main mission. One of the first steps in committing to a clear vision is getting clear on what you truly want. This may sound obvious, but a lot of people struggle with it because they've never taken the time to ask themselves what they really want out of life. They get caught up in external pressures, society's expectations, or what other people think they should want. They end up chasing goals that don't truly align with their values or passions. When you commit to a clear vision, you have to first dig deep and ask yourself, what do I really want? What makes me feel alive? What excites me to my core? Once you've identified your vision, the next step is to make it concrete. A vision without a plan is just a dream. Break it down into specific, actionable steps. If your vision is to build a successful business, map out the steps required to get there. What resources do you need? What skills do you need to develop? What obstacles will you face? Create a plan that gives you a clear path forward and reminds you of the big picture when the details start to overwhelm you. Commitment to your vision means making it a non-negotiable part of your life. It's not something you can pick up when it's convenient and drop when things get tough. It requires consistency, discipline, and unwavering focus. When you commit to a clear vision, you don't leave room for excuses. You understand that there will be setbacks, failures, and days when you don't feel like showing up, but you commit to pushing through regardless. You build habits around your vision, creating routines and systems that support it. Accountability is essential in this process. It's one thing to commit to a vision privately, but it's another to commit to it publicly. When you share your vision with others, you increase your accountability. Find someone, whether it's a mentor, a friend, or a community of like-minded individuals who will hold you to your word and challenge you to stay on track. Knowing that someone else is watching can make a huge difference when your motivation starts to wane. Your commitment to your vision will also be tested by obstacles, and the way you respond to these obstacles will determine your success. Life is unpredictable, and it's easy to become disillusioned when things don't go as planned. You may face financial difficulties, personal challenges, or external setbacks that threaten to derail your vision. But when you're truly committed to your vision, you learn to see obstacles as opportunities to grow rather than as roadblocks to your success. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to learn, adapt, and get stronger. One of the most powerful aspects of a clear vision is that it serves as a guide when you encounter uncertainty. There will be times when you feel lost, unsure of what to do next. Your vision becomes your anchor, reminding you of where you're headed and why it's worth the struggle. When you're clear on your destination, every decision becomes easier. Does this decision move me closer to my vision, or does it take me further away? The clearer your vision, the more decisively you can make these choices. Another important element of committing to your vision is resilience. The road to success is rarely a straight line. You'll face failures, setbacks, and moments of doubt. Resilience is the ability to keep going even when the road is tough. When you truly commit to a clear vision, you embrace the idea that failure is not final, it's just part of the process. You bounce back stronger, smarter, and more determined. Resilience is what separates those who achieve their dreams from those who give up along the way. As you continue to commit to your vision, you'll begin to notice something powerful, the alignment between your actions and your values. When you commit to a vision that truly resonates with who you are, the work no longer feels like work. You're no longer forcing yourself to show up. You're excited to do the work because it's aligned with your purpose. This alignment creates a sense of fulfillment that goes far beyond external success. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey and the person you become along the way. The commitment to your vision also requires the ability to adapt. While your vision should remain constant, the path to achieving it will likely change. You may encounter new information, new tools, or new challenges that force you to adjust your approach. Flexibility is crucial. Sticking rigidly to a plan that's no longer serving you will only lead to frustration. But when you're committed to the vision itself, you're willing to adjust your strategy as needed to keep moving forward. It's important to remember that commitment to a clear vision doesn't mean you need to have all the answers up front. You don't have to know exactly how you'll achieve everything from the start. What's important is your willingness to take the first step, to move forward even when you don't know everything. The act of taking action creates momentum, and that momentum propels you toward your vision, even when you can't yet see the full path. Committing to your vision also means prioritizing it. Life is full of distractions, and it's easy to get sidetracked by the demands of day-to-day life. But when you're clear on your vision, you understand that time is your most valuable resource. You begin to prioritize the activities, relationships, and habits that bring you closer to your goals and eliminate those that don't. When you commit to a clear vision, you become an example for others. Your dedication, perseverance, and focus can inspire those around you to commit to their own visions. Your success becomes a testament to what's possible when you dedicate yourself to something greater than yourself. When you're trying to achieve something big, it can feel overwhelming. The task seems enormous and the path ahead is unclear. So many people give up before they even get started because they look at the entire journey and feel like it's too much. But the truth is, the most successful people don't tackle everything all at once. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They don't wait until everything is lined up. Instead, they start small and keep moving forward, no matter how small those steps seem. The key is consistency, not speed. The idea of starting small doesn't mean you're settling for less or giving up on big goals. It's actually the most powerful strategy for long-term success. Think of it like planting a seed. You don't expect it to grow into a massive tree overnight, but if you water it every day, give it sunlight, and care for it, it will grow steadily over time. This same principle applies to your goals. You don't need to have everything figured out from the beginning. All you need is the willingness to start, no matter how small. One of the most common reasons people fail to reach their goals is the overwhelming pressure of thinking they need to do everything all at once. It's easy to look at someone who's achieved something great and think, I could never do that, because you're not looking at the years of steady work and small progress that led them to where they are now. The truth is, no one starts out great. Everyone has to begin somewhere. And the beginning is always small. When you start small, you allow yourself the grace to make mistakes, learn from them, and improve. You don't set yourself up for failure by aiming for perfection. Perfection is an illusion, but steady progress is real. The mistake people often make is expecting rapid results and getting discouraged when things don't happen as quickly as they want. This kind of impatience is toxic to progress. Achieving great things is a marathon, not a sprint. It's about putting in the work day after day, even when it seems like you're not seeing results. But the results will come eventually, only if you stay consistent. Starting small also means setting realistic, achievable goals. You don't need to take on everything at once. Focus on the next small step and do it well. It could be as simple as dedicating just 15 minutes a day to a new skill, writing a page of your book every day, or even just waking up 10 minutes earlier each day to work on your goals. It's not about making massive changes overnight. It's about creating momentum over time. These small steps add up to significant progress. The important part is to stay steady. If you make a goal and stick with it, you'll be amazed at how quickly things can change. Steady effort compounds over time. Think about saving money. You might not see much growth after putting aside a few dollars here and there, but over the years, that small amount can grow into something substantial. It's the same with anything you want to achieve. Discipline is critical. When you start small, it's easy to get excited about something and jump in with all your energy at the beginning, but over time, that enthusiasm tends to fade. When the excitement wears off, that's when your commitment to staying steady will make all the difference. The days when you don't feel like doing the work are the days that matter the most. Staying steady means showing up even when you don't feel like it. It means following through when things get tough. This is where most people fail. They give up when the results don't come immediately or when the initial excitement wears off. But if you stay steady even when things get hard, you'll find that you make more progress than those who give up. It's also important to be patient with yourself. When you start small, progress may not be immediately visible, and that can be frustrating. But the key is not to rush the process. If you try to force things to happen too quickly, you might miss out on the crucial lessons and experiences that come from doing things at your own pace. Allow yourself to grow at a natural pace and trust that your small actions will eventually lead to big results. Patience also means accepting that there will be setbacks. Nothing worth achieving comes without some obstacles. There will be days when you don't feel motivated, days when progress feels slow, or when you feel like you're not getting anywhere. But the key to success is how you respond during these times. Do you quit, or do you keep showing up even when you're not seeing immediate results? It's this commitment to showing up, no matter how small the step, that will eventually set you apart from everyone else. The beauty of starting small is that it gives you the chance to build habits. Small actions repeated consistently lead to habits. These habits shape your identity and define your future success. The more you practice, the better you get. The more you show up, the easier it becomes. It's no longer about willpower or motivation. It becomes a routine, a part of who you are. When you make something a habit, it becomes automatic. It no longer requires effort or motivation to continue. And once you form that habit, it's just a matter of continuing to show up, steadily moving toward your goals. Additionally, starting small allows you to measure progress more effectively. When your goals are broken down into manageable pieces, it's easier to track your progress and stay motivated. You'll see how far you've come and feel encouraged to keep going. It's the small wins along the way that build the momentum you need to continue. When you're working on something big, it can be easy to lose sight of the progress you've made. But starting small gives you the opportunity to celebrate each step forward. Another advantage of starting small is that it reduces the pressure to perform. When you break your goals down into small, actionable steps, they no longer feel so daunting. The pressure of perfection can hold you back, but when you start small, you give yourself permission to make mistakes, learn from them, and grow. Starting small allows you to make progress without the burden of feeling like you have to do everything perfectly from the start. The key to success is understanding that it's the small, steady actions that matter the most. Over time, these actions will compound into something great. Starting small gives you the space to learn, adapt, and improve. It's about showing up every day, no matter how small the task. The effort you put in today will pay off in the long run. Don't be fooled by the slow pace. It may seem like you're not getting anywhere, but when you look back over time, you'll see just how far you've come. Success isn't built overnight. It's built with consistency, determination, and steady effort. The small steps you take today will lead to the giant leaps of tomorrow, so don't rush the process. Start small, but stay steady. Make progress every day, even if it's just a little bit. Those little steps add up, and eventually you'll look back and realize how much you've accomplished. We live in a world filled with distractions. Every minute we are bombarded with notifications, people demanding our attention, and endless distractions that pull us in different directions. In a world that is constantly seeking our focus, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. But the truth is, the only way to achieve real progress, success, and personal growth is by eliminating distractions and taking control of your attention. Distractions are the silent killers of productivity. They may not seem harmful at first, but when you start adding up all the time wasted checking your phone, responding to irrelevant emails, or allowing people to interrupt your work, it becomes clear how much of your energy is being siphoned away. In reality, we have more control over our time and attention than we realize, but distractions keep us trapped in cycles of inefficiency and procrastination. The first step to reaching your full potential is to eliminate these distractions, regain control, and focus on the tasks that truly matter. It starts with understanding that distractions are everywhere and they come in all forms. They may not always be as obvious as a phone ringing or a notification popping up on your screen. Sometimes distractions are more subtle, like your own thoughts, doubts, or the temptation to procrastinate. The moment you realize how much of your time is being consumed by distractions, the harder it becomes to ignore. The key is not to expect distractions to magically disappear, but to actively eliminate them. You can't control what happens around you, but you can control your reaction to it. The first step in eliminating distractions is identifying them. You need to take a moment to evaluate where your time is going. What are you spending your time on? What are you doing that is taking your focus away from your goals? Are you checking social media mindlessly, or are you allowing other people to dictate your schedule? Are you falling into the trap of procrastination? These questions will help you pinpoint the distractions that are stealing your focus. By recognizing the sources of distraction, you can begin to take steps to remove them from your life. One of the biggest culprits when it comes to distractions is technology. Our phones, computers, and other devices are designed to keep us connected, but they also make it easy to lose focus. Social media platforms, messaging apps, and constant notifications are some of the biggest time wasters we face today. While technology is an incredible tool, it also has the power to completely derail our focus and productivity if we're not careful. The key is to use technology as a tool, not as a distraction. Turn off notifications, put your phone on silent, or even put it out of sight when you need to focus on something important. Another form of distraction comes from the people around us, whether it's friends, family, or co-workers. Distractions from others can disrupt our work and cause us to lose focus. We have all experienced moments when someone interrupted us during an important task and the momentum was lost. People can be distractions in both big and small ways. Sometimes they don't even realize it. Setting boundaries is crucial when it comes to maintaining your focus. You have the right to prioritize your time and make it clear when you need space to work. You don't need to feel guilty for telling people you're busy or that you need to focus. Communicating your need for uninterrupted time is an essential part of staying productive. Procrastination is another distraction that sneaks up on us. It's easy to convince yourself that you'll get to the task later, but this habit only causes stress and wasted time. Procrastination is a form of avoidance. It's a distraction from the things that matter most. The longer you put things off, the harder it becomes to get started, but breaking the cycle of procrastination is possible. You need to commit to the task at hand, no matter how uncomfortable or overwhelming it seems. Take small steps and don't allow yourself to get caught in the trap of, "I'll do it later." Once you begin taking action, even in small amounts, you'll start to break free from the grip of procrastination and gain momentum. Sometimes distractions come from within ourselves. Our own thoughts, fears, and insecurities can distract us from the work that needs to be done. Doubts about our abilities or fears of failure can cloud our minds and prevent us from taking action. But you need to realize that these thoughts are distractions too. They are just another form of resistance trying to keep you from moving forward. The key is to push through those thoughts and take action, no matter how small. The more you push past your fears and doubts, the more you'll realize that they don't have control over you. You have the power to decide where your focus goes. Another aspect of eliminating distractions is creating an environment that supports your goals. Your environment plays a huge role in your ability to focus. If your space is cluttered or disorganized, it can make it harder to concentrate. Disorganization breeds distraction. If you want to stay focused, you need to design your environment to minimize distractions and to promote concentration. Clean up your workspace, remove unnecessary items, and create an environment that is conducive to concentration. Time management is another important tool when it comes to eliminating distractions. If you don't have a clear plan for how to spend your time, you're more likely to be distracted by unimportant tasks. The key to managing your time effectively is to prioritize the most important tasks and break them down into smaller, manageable steps. Use a planner or calendar to schedule specific blocks of time for focused work. Set deadlines for yourself and stick to them. Don't let other tasks or distractions take precedence over what truly matters. When you manage your time effectively, you create more space to focus on the things that will move you forward. But eliminating distractions is not just about cutting out external forces, it's also about strengthening your own willpower. Focus is a muscle that needs to be trained, and just like any muscle, it gets stronger the more you work it. If you're easily distracted, it's a sign that your focus needs improvement. Practice concentration by dedicating yourself to tasks for short periods of time and gradually increasing the length of your focus sessions. The more you work on strengthening your focus, the easier it will become to shut out distractions and stay on track. Understand that eliminating distractions is an ongoing process. It's not something you do once and forget about. Distractions will always be present in some form, and you need to constantly monitor your environment, your thoughts, and your habits to ensure that you stay on track. Stay vigilant and proactive in creating an environment that supports your focus. The more you practice eliminating distractions, the more you'll be able to sustain your focus over time. And in the end, the ability to eliminate distractions will be one of your greatest assets on the road to success. The distractions in your life may seem small at first, but over time they add up. They steal your time, energy, and attention away from what really matters. By learning to eliminate distractions, you're reclaiming your focus and setting yourself up for success. It's not easy, but it's necessary. And as you get better at eliminating distraction, you'll find that you can achieve more, accomplish your goals faster, and feel more in control of your life. So take action today. Eliminate the distractions and take back your power. We live in a world that constantly tells us to follow our feelings. Society often encourages us to trust our emotions, to act based on what feels good in the moment. But the reality is feelings are temporary, fleeting, and unreliable. The truth is, if you want to achieve anything meaningful in life, you must learn to place discipline above your feelings. Emotions can be powerful, but they will not take you where you want to go. Discipline will. Discipline is the foundation of success. It's the ability to make choices based on what you need, not what you want right now. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it, pushing through the tough times and sticking to your goals regardless of how you feel. The most successful people aren't the ones who follow their emotions. They are the ones who do what they need to do no matter what their feelings tell them. And this is the key difference between those who succeed and those who fail. You can't always control your emotions, but you can control your actions, and it's your actions that will determine your future, not your feelings. The first step in developing discipline over feelings is understanding the difference between them. Feelings are reactions to external circumstances or internal thoughts. They are temporary and often unreliable. You may feel motivated one minute and then feel like giving up the next. You may feel excited about a new project one day, but the next day all of that excitement is gone, replaced by self-doubt or fear. These feelings are natural, but they are not reliable indicators of what you should do next. On the other hand, discipline is about sticking to a plan regardless of your feelings. Discipline is not swayed by momentary emotions. It is driven by a deeper commitment to your goals and values. Think about the things you've achieved in life. How many of them were accomplished because you simply felt like it every single day? The truth is, most of your accomplishments were achieved because you chose to push through even when you didn't feel like it. Whether it's getting up early to work out, staying late to finish a project, or resisting the temptation to procrastinate, discipline is what made it possible. If you only acted when you felt motivated, nothing would get done. The key is to create a routine, a set of habits, and a commitment to your goals that are stronger than your fleeting emotions. One of the biggest obstacles to discipline is the constant desire for instant gratification. We live in a culture that is obsessed with convenience and quick rewards. It's easy to give in to the temptation of a short-term pleasure, a snack, a video, scrolling through social media because it feels good in the moment. But those instant pleasures are often at odds with our long-term goals. Discipline is about delaying gratification and choosing the hard, uncomfortable road now in order to reap the rewards later. If you constantly give in to your feelings, you'll never build the kind of life you want. The feeling of immediate pleasure is fleeting, but the results of disciplined effort last much longer. Discipline also requires the ability to make sacrifices. If you want to succeed, you have to give up some of the things you enjoy in the moment. Whether it's time spent watching television, eating junk food, or spending time with people who are not aligned with your goals, sacrifices are part of the process. But discipline teaches you to make the right choices even when they aren't easy. It's about having the foresight to understand that every action you take, every choice you make either brings you closer to your goals or takes you further away from them. Discipline means making the hard decisions now so that you can enjoy the rewards later. Another challenge is that feelings can cloud our judgment. When you're tired, frustrated, or upset, it can be difficult to make clear-headed decisions. Your emotions might tell you that you deserve a break or that it's okay to put things off for a while. But if you let your feelings guide your decisions, you will often find yourself stuck in a cycle of procrastination and inaction. Discipline allows you to take a step back from your emotions and make decisions based on logic and long-term outcomes, rather than being swept away by the current of temporary feelings. When you feel tired or stressed, discipline teaches you to push through, to stay focused, and to finish what you started. You don't give in to the feeling of discomfort. Instead, you act in spite of it. Discipline also requires consistency. It's not enough to simply show up once in a while when you feel like it. To truly achieve success, you must be consistent in your efforts day in and day out. This is where discipline really shines. It's easy to be motivated when things are going well, but the real test of character comes when things get tough. When you're tired, discouraged, or facing obstacles, discipline is what keeps you going. It's the ability to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. Success isn't built on one big push. It's built on the consistent day-to-day actions that compound over time. Discipline also helps you overcome fear. Fear is another feeling that can easily sabotage your progress. Whether it's the fear of failure, rejection, or the unknown, fear can stop you from taking action. But discipline teaches you to take action anyway. It's the ability to move forward even when you're scared. When you feel fear creeping in, discipline says, don't let that stop you. Fear doesn't control you. You control how you respond to it. And the more you act in spite of fear, the less power fear has over you. Developing discipline over feelings requires building mental toughness. Mental toughness is the ability to stay focused, motivated, and resilient even when things aren't going your way. It's the ability to push through discomfort, to keep going when you want to quit, and to stay on track when everything around you seems to be falling apart. Mental toughness doesn't happen overnight. It's built over time through consistent practice and effort. You don't wake up one day and decide to be mentally tough. You develop it through daily actions and decisions that require you to stay disciplined even when you don't feel like it. Finally, it's important to remember that discipline is a muscle. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. It's easy to give in to your feelings when you first start, but as you keep choosing discipline over emotions, you'll find that it becomes easier and easier. Eventually, it will become second nature. You won't even have to think about it. You'll just do what needs to be done. And when you get to that point, you'll realize that the power to create the life you want has always been in your hands. It was never about waiting for the right feeling or the right moment. It was always about choosing discipline, day in and day out, no matter how you feel. So stop waiting for the motivation to show up. Stop relying on feelings to guide your actions. Discipline is the key to achieving your goals, and it's the one thing that will always work when emotions fail you. Take control of your life today. Choose discipline over feelings and watch your dreams turn into reality.